Okay, now if all has gone well, you should have 5 columns with words in each of the columns. Likely there'll be words in each of the columns. And first off, I'd like you to take away the words in the want and in the indifferent column because they aren't values that are strong enough to trigger you to want to put them in the must-have, high want, or don't want column. So now ask you to look at the must-have column of words. Typically, when I do the values assessment with people, it's going to be maybe 10 or 12 must-have words. If there are not that many, then we can also draw from the high wants. But if you already have about 10 or 12 words in the must-have category, that is enough to work with. And then the other thing is we're going to work with the don't wants because when it comes to having a really satisfied and happy life that doesn't have soul misery in it, we've got to create a life that as much as possible does not have the don't want words in it. So first of all, looking at the must-haves, just invite you, if we were doing this together, I would ask you to define for me what each of these words mean. So say change and variety is one of the values that you put. I would ask you to describe in a really rich, deep, satisfying life, what would change and variety look like? I would listen to what you had to say and then write down some notes about it. So, because you're doing this by yourself, just ask you to ask yourself, in a life that I really want to live, where there's no soul misery, what would change and variety look like? And so you could just ask it and answer it in your head, or you could take some notes down. And I ask you to do that for each of the values. And having done the values assessment with, I am guessing, 200 or 300 people by now, what really has struck me about it is that the must-have values are never the same for any one individual. It's as though we were created so uniquely that the things that really matter to us will be unique and different to every other human being. And that always gives me a chill to see that. But the must-have values are a really big key to not having soul misery. Because if you're living highly in each of those must-have values, I think I can say pretty safely, you will not be having soul misery. And so often, the life that you are living right now is missing one or more of those must-have values. And when I mean missing, it means you can't live high in that value. So take a moment now to just ponder your must-have list, asking yourself what that value really means for you in your life, and asking, do I have this now in my life? Could the absence of this be one of the big factors as to why I'm feeling miserable right now? So just take some time to ponder that, pause the recording, and come back when you're ready. The next thing I want you to do is look at the don't want list of values that you've written down. And again, when you look at them, see in your current life whether or not some of these don't wants are actually there and you have to live by them even if you do not want to. So just as with the must-haves, give this list some pondering and writing down some things about it. And in life coaching that I'm doing face to face with the person, this list also gives some really good tips about where the coaching might need to go. And so you too might come out of this values list assessment with some questions, just some things that you would have that you would want to deal with a counselor or a life coach in your attempt to shift your life from feeling really miserable, not knowing who you are, not knowing why you're here, towards a life that's a lot more fulfilling. I think, though, after doing this values assessment, you will have a lot better idea of who you are. And who you are is somebody who has these values that you want to live by. And who you are might be right now, you've got these values, you know what they are, but you can't live by them currently. And so that kind of points you in the direction of some ideas of where you need to go and what you need to do next. At least I hope so.